Now, our next guest is the Chief Digital Officer at Kobalt Music Group. If you've ever wondered how a song gets placed in a movie or a viral ad, this is your guy. Please welcome Bob Bruderman.
Hello!
How's it going?
Hi, everybody.
We're so excited to chat with you today.
Same.
Well, to kick us off, we would love for you to give a little introduction about your experience in the industry, where you started, and where you are now.
I'm from South Florida. You have to rein me in if I go too crazy here.
Okay.
I'm from South Florida, and I went to the University of Miami.
Go Canes.
And immediately after graduating, so I went through different majors and all of that stuff. I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. I double majored in philosophy and film, but I was always a music guy. I was drum major in marching band. I played in jazz band. I played jazz saxophone. I was in a bunch of indie bands playing guitar and stuff like that. So music was in my soul. And when I graduated with a film and philosophy degree, I didn't want to go to LA because LA wasn't my kind of thing. No offense to the LA people here. So I decided to move to New York with $800 and couch surf. And I did some post-production stuff for a bit and then applied online to like 70 places like in music and TV, and got a call from Sony Music Entertainment to do like a temp job. So I started just doing some temp job, doing like real admin stuff, typing stuff in the computer for like 10 hours a day for $10 an hour, literally $10 an hour, and which I'm really good at the time. And then I literally just like, I hate to say it this way, but I felt like the beneficiary of kind of the collapse of the music industry. It was a really sad time in the music business, 20-something years ago. And they were always laying people off, so I was able to navigate and kind of always take another role as we saw a lot of colleagues leave. But on a positive note, there was so much activity going on at the time that I had the real opportunity to go across all different kinds of roles at Sony, between sync and digital and distribution and the audit team. You can learn a lot when you're in the audit team. And so forth and so on. So over time, I started learning the music publishing business as well on the label side. So I knew all the music publishers in the U.S. And at a certain point, it was like, oh, it's time to try to spread my wings a little bit. Yeah. And one of the best, I thought, publishers in the country was Kobalt. So I said, hey, if you have anything, let me know. 6 months later, I got a call. And I ended up building up the whole digital group for Sony and a label we had at the time called AWOL, which is now part of Sony, funny enough. So wow. Sorry if that was long, but it's I knew no one and worked my way up from there.
That was wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, it's an incredible journey. We all got to start somewhere, so it's so cool to see you rise through the ranks. So, as you talked about the music industry changing so much with technological advancements, sync is typically in film and TV, right? But with the rise of social media platforms, have you seen sync opportunities change over time?
I mean, I tend to think of sync in the old world, kind of until like the last 10 years, 15 years, was really like traditional film and TV syncs, where you're going out and we have a whole team of 50 people right now where they go out and they're pitching, all the different studios for ideas based on those briefs to get the music in whatever, the Avengers movie or the X indie movie or X advertisement, right? So that was like pretty smooth, kind of well-oiled machine at the time, and everyone's competing for that placement and whatnot. Now we do use data a lot to help try to inform that. We've built a lot of tools to help find the right kind of fit for whatever the brief is for whatever kind of film studio. Or whatever the kind of sync use is. But really, the sync to me is it's not just sync, it's about new business opportunities generally, and it's about leaning into all different kinds of diverse new ways to exploit all of the different recordings and copyrights we have across the world on specific platforms sometimes, but also in those more traditional kind of advertising and brand uses. So what we've done there is we've really tried to lean on multi-platform kind of strategy in that regard to try to activate our copyrights across different platforms. Let me give you an example. Like at the Super Bowl, there was a John Denver sync, and we reached out to Meta to have like an activation there. So we were able to kind of have a real great experience in the app where people could choose the John Denver song from like the 1970s, and it became a huge hit. You know, it drove up streaming incredibly across all the different platforms. But that's folks are doing that in the marketplace in all different kinds of new differentiated ways to try to get that big global reach and kind of ignite new artists developing, but obviously trying to reignite and remind people of all those great songs that we all love from the past, whether we've heard them or not. So.
That's awesome. And I'm a writer myself, so I'm definitely interested to hear a little bit more about the process of a sync placement, especially in light of streaming services, and it's kind of hard for writers to make money nowadays. A lot of them are turning to sync. I know a lot of ears in here are probably curious how they can make some money through sync.
Yeah, so it really depends on what kind of copyright you have and kind of how you're going to navigate that. Like what we do is we have tools, again, like I was kind of alluding to before, that help us find the right kind of syncs for the right kind of ads. We want to make sure all of our clients are trying to find the right kind of opportunities out there for them, and that we're able to surface that really quickly, get it out to the different kinds of music supervisors or companies as fast as we can, and just try to get in there fast and try to be like, this is the copyright, this is perfect for whatever you're trying to do. So we built all kinds of tools to do that. But really, like what I would say to those starting out is like, first of all, if you're with a Kobalt or a large publisher, they have a whole infrastructure to it. Like I said, we have 50 people doing just sync all day long. But I think there's so many good companies out there that you're able to work with that can lean into and partner with you to try to find the right kind of niche. Like if you have a specific kind of genre, they may have specific kind of parts of the market that they're able to lean into and try to, again, just find the right fit for you. Ultimately, you want someone like, just like anything with A&R and with any partnership with a label or publisher or a manager, you really just want someone that's passionate about your music and that's going to go fight for it. Because I mean, at the end of the day, most of our team is really passionate about the stuff we sign, and they really just want everyone to succeed. Like we succeed if they succeed. You know, we're predominantly an admin business, so we really want everyone to be happy campers. So I would just say find the right sync supervisors in the market that are right for you and that you have a great rapport with and you trust to be good custodians of your work.
That's good advice, and it sounds applicable to all fields too.
Yeah.
Totally. Do you have any strategies for maintaining those relationships with important film supervisors?
I mean, sync is like a 24/7 job in many ways. You're looking at this, and these are people that are incredibly passionate about music. They're listening to everything. They're listening to the new demos that are coming in. They're going out to dinners with sync supervisors. They're going out to dinner with other creatives, and they're always trying to ensure that X brand or X company, that they're kind of the first person they're going to call too, so there's maybe a slight edge on everyone else in the market. So, I mean, the biggest thing is like making sure people are passionate and making sure that people are out there in the market, because like, there's nothing better than being able to pick up a phone to a trusted friend or colleague in the industry and saying, this is it, this track is a track that's coming out in 2 months, we need this out there, you need this in your sync. It is going to be the best possible thing for your brand. And that happens all the time, so this day.
That's so cool. Now, what are music supervisors typically looking for when they're selecting tracks for projects?
I mean, the briefs these days is, they get pretty detailed. Like, so they'll say, I mean, not everything, but like, there's a lot of the supervisors out there will know exactly what they want for something. They'll go, I want something that is happy, has a 1980s new wave feel. Let me know what you got, and then everyone will furiously look up what they're trying to do, and what kind of copyrights they think would be right, and submit it. So, yeah, does that answer?
Oh, that is helpful, don't you worry. Now, kind of building off of that though, how can artists lean into making their music more appealing? Is there any like broader answer to that, or is it all just hyper-specific?
I mean, I think the artists need to be themselves and be the artists. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think we're trying to get to be the creative managers. We want to be the accentuator and find the right opportunity for whatever the creative and artistic vision is for our writers and artists. So that said, I think there are opportunities to find segments of different songs that are perhaps things that folks think are really, that you're both aligned with on finding like the right kind of hook or whatnot for the right kind of brief. And but again, each supervisor has their own kind of way, and again, it's a bit of a creative kind of role in and of itself. So.
I love that. We always hear a lot about colors and visual branding when we're talking about ads and film projects. Do you feel like that aligns with sound as well, like having your own soundscape of each project that's consistent throughout, or would you say that it ebbs and flows?
Yeah, look, if that's what the artists want, then that's to kind of do, then that's great. We'll take that and we'll work with them to try to find the right placements for that. But yeah, I mean, in terms of just broad artistic vision, it should be the artistic vision. Like we're really not, again, like I said, we're not really trying to shape that in any kind of way. So.
Gotcha.
That's wonderful. And then for artists that are looking to get more into sync, I know you're talking about what copyrights people have and stuff. What skills do you think people should be focusing on? Should they be really digging into Pro Tools and Logic, or do you think they should be, investing in other skills?
Well, I mean, I think that again, I think I want to come back to the idea of like what sync is these days. Like there's so many new opportunities out there, again, on platforms sort of things. Let me give you an example, like TikTok's commercial music library. Mm-hmm. That's essentially a sync. That is a library on TikTok that is made available for brands to use. We had one artist that had hundreds of thousands of dollars they made on TikTok CML for a track that was 20 years old, from, and one of the biggest brands in the world using the copyright. And they just found it on TikTok CML. So I guess my point is, like, more than that, it's really about trying to find those new sync opportunities and leaning into new technology and new platforms that you wouldn't necessarily normally lean into. There's many more opportunities out there like the one I just mentioned.
That's awesome. And then can artists expose themselves to those opportunities, like through clear metadata or is submitting to music libraries? Are there any specific tools or websites you guys use as sync licensors?
Yeah, we partner with some different websites that kind of aggregate different copyrights that we find help streamline the sync process for folks. Certainly, I know me when I was a film student, it was really hard to figure out how licensing worked. It still is pretty hard to figure out how licensing works. So we've tried to partner with some of those different services out there that try to make it easy and try to create like a one-click-ish opportunity for folks to be able to license music. Yeah.
See, and from entering data to temp jobs to where you are now, are there any skills that you got really early on in your career that you still utilize to this day?
I mean, I think, look, I'm very simple when it comes to that component, which is like get in early, work late, be passionate, be curious, be nice, be nice. There's a lot of people that in the days I started that weren't very nice. I think a lot of that has gotten a bit weeded out. I think as you heard from the last guest, it can be a very competitive, difficult environment, but be nice and be smart and be honest at the end of the day, I think gets you a long way, and just work hard. I don't have any more than that, to be honest with you.
I love that. And where do you see the future of sync going? We're in the TikTok and social media era now, but what are those new frontiers?
Sync needs to transform, okay? Sync needs to embrace new realities. A lot of syncs right now, a lot of artists and songwriters right now, I think, there's a segment that are really leaning into the future, and there's some that are kind of really want to wrangle, control, and look at everything out there in the market and approve everything. I really think there needs to be an evolution in terms of how folks, and by the way, I should say this happened naturally. Generally speaking, artists have gotten more and writers have gotten more comfortable with different kinds of syncs they never would have done 20 years ago. And that's just because they realize it doesn't really hurt their brand as much anymore, or there's not the perception that it will hurt their brand. So I think there's a huge opportunity to continue trying to be more flexible in kind of where you think you're able to place your music on new platforms, like I was saying before.
Now, for all professionals in the room, do you have important things that you would be to market yourself if they want to go into sync? Not necessarily from a creative side, but if they want to be more in your shoes.
Where if they're to market?
To like market themselves, to try and get
Oh.
a job. What should they be doing?
To market themselves. Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's where look. If you're getting to a certain point, you're going to obviously want to find management that can help you do that. You're going to find a label that can help you do that in many ways. I think the struggle I think folks have these days is how much time do I spend on all the marketing? You know, if I'm an artist, do I spend 80% of my time marketing myself, or at what point do I go find management, or are there other kind of partners that can help me accentuate and build my own kind of personal brand and get my music out there? So I think early on, the truth is you do need to in large part be take the reins and be a master of your own destiny and learn YouTube, learn TikTok, learn all of the different meta properties, and kind of lean in there and try to find your audience there, build your audience there. And I think at a certain point, you really do need to kind of relinquish the reins and kind of focus on the art itself.
Yeah. Are you a big LinkedIn guy too?
Not so much.
So you can still be successful without LinkedIn. Good to know.
That's so fun. Well, I think that is where we're going to wrap today. Thank you so much for teaching us more about the world of sync and opening it up to all of us.